give that top coat a little bit of the time to dry, and then if you like, you can apply the cuticle oil. Some of the cuticle oils also act as drying agents for the polish. Some of them come in spray form, some of them come in drops. This particular one comes in a drop, and you're just going to spread it around the cuticle. If it's a drying agent, you can spread it on the nail as well. Advise the client that this is oil, so they don't want to get it on their clothes, so they need to be a little bit cautious as well. Sometimes it helps them they'll protect their polish a little bit better if they don't want to get oil on their clothes. So that completes a manicure. At this point, just let your client's nails dry for a few minutes, and then you're going to ask them if they need any assistance to their vehicle or with their coat, and then after that you're going to clean up your station and sanitize all of your implements. If you're doing a spa or a fancier manicure, depending on where you're working and the product line you're using, some of them call it a luxury manicure, then you might be using a scrub or an exfoliant. You might be putting a mask on and using a paraffin dip. That is all dependent on the line that you're using, and whatever line that you're using you'll be trained in, and they'll tell you where that's appropriate to put in. As well, there's another procedure called a hot oil manicure that can be done when someone has extra dry cuticles. It's a really nice procedure. Instead of the water bath, you're using a hot oil bath, which is a little electric heater with oil. So you would fill the oil heater up high enough to cover the cuticles prior to the service, and you would heat it, and you want to make sure it's not too hot. You would have the client wash their hands with antibacterial soap, shape the nails, and at the same point that you would use the water bath, you would then put the hand in the oil bath for 2 to 3 minutes, and then when you're using the oil from the heater, you're going to do the massage later. You can use the oil that's already heated then too, and you want to make sure that afterwards you dry the oil off, and again clean the nail bed really well because it's been soaked in oil. So we're now doing pedicure procedure. First of all, you want to remove your client's shoes and socks. If your client's pants won't push up past their knees, you may require a gown. First of all, you're going to make sure you've filled out your client's health record and your pedicure sheet, so that you know your client's health concerns and needs. Drape a towel over your lap. Using alcohol, you're going to swab the entire surface of your client's foot. Previous to this, you will have sanitized your hands. Purpose of this is actually not to sanitize the client's foot, but it's to actually get a look at the client's foot. So you're going to be looking for things like plantar's wart, which you never want to file over. You're going to be looking between the toes for things like tinea pedis, or commonly known as athlete's foot. You're going to be checking for fungal toenails. Aesthetics, in the aesthetics field, estheticians are not permitted to work on a fungal foot or on a diabetic foot. So what you'll be doing is generally a pedicure is a maintenance or a luxury item for most people. People who have serious foot problems need to go to see their podologist or their podiatrist. So now you've checked the foot. So you're going to place the feet in the foot bath. Of course, with your foot bath, your sanitation is of utmost importance because you don't want to be cross-contaminating clients. So you're wanting to make sure that your foot bath is properly sanitized and sanitizable. If you've worked on a client who does have a fungal condition of any sort, they need to have, you need to have soaked your foot bowl in bleach solution, unless of course you're using a stainless steel, which of course you can sanitize, but everything needs to be washed with antibacterial and sprayed with a sanitizer of some sort, preferably one that is a high-grade professional sanitizer that's going to clean even your HIV, your germs, your viruses, and your fungal agents. So at this point, while your client is soaking, you can clean all of your implements with alcohol unless you have them sitting already in a sanitary solution. If your client's concerned why you're sanitizing your implements now, you can tell them that they've already been sanitized, that you're just being doubly sure that everything is perfectly sanitized. And you're going to wrap your orange wood stick with cotton. For this, I prefer cotton balls because they are much easier to wrap and to get the stick onto the cotton. So you're going to remove the first foot from the water. Using a towel, you're going to push back the cuticles a little bit and dry in between all of the toes. Dry the foot completely. And additionally, you can also wrap the foot if you like, so that it's comfortable. And stays warm during the procedure. Try to get the client to relax their foot. And you're going to apply your cuticle solvent. You're going to trim the toenails straight across. Don't cut into the corner of the toenails because that promotes ingrown toenails. Should ask your client how they like their toenails. Some people prefer to leave their toenails long.
No, it's fine.
Generally a wise idea, if you don't wear glasses, to close your eyes when you're clipping the toenail, when you make the pressure, because they've been known to fly all over the place. Try to keep your hands in the close proximity so that you can collect the toenails if they do fly. Okay, and then you're going to file the nail straight across using an emery board. Now, toenail is a much tougher composition than a fingernail, so the filing procedure, we use a rougher file because they're generally thicker, and the fine file that you're going to use for your fingernails probably won't take down a toenail in as fast order as you'd like. Toenails aren't as prone to splitting and cracking as fingernails, so the filing procedure is not as important as going the one direction. And then you're going to smooth the nail with a pumice stone, just to make sure it is sealed. Okay, you're going to put a new cotton on your orange wood stick. And you're going to reapply your cuticle solvent. You're going to take your pumice stone or your Hindu stone, and you're going to push back the cuticles a little bit gently. We're not trying to lift that cuticle off the nail. What we're trying to do is remove excess cuticle or pterygium off the nail. You can feel that in the nail. There's often little ridges. Never want to use excessive pressure on any nail because you don't want to damage the nail bed. The nail itself may be tough, but the nail bed below is not. Ever so gently. Again, not trying to lift that cuticle off the nail, just to lift the excess. And you're going to clean underneath the free edge of the nail. And then smooth the pumice stone again if necessary. If you're using a callus cream of some sort, you could apply it after the foot comes out of the bath and wrap it in a towel if it takes some time. Some people have extensive callusing, and that's when you would want to apply a heavy-duty callus remover and keep it on the foot while you're doing this other work. Alternately, then, if they don't have a lot of callusing at this point, you would unwrap the foot, and you're going to look for callusing, and you're going to use your pedi paddle and paddle that off. You want to stroke and then give a rest, because otherwise the pedicure can quite heat up the skin. And you don't want to overheat, because then you can actually damage the skin below. If a client has excessive callousing, you may not be able to get their foot perfectly good in a first session. You may have to say, given our time allotment, this is as much as I can do this time, and if you could come in for regular pedicures, we could get your feet looking much better. And the client has to understand that they are really paying for a 1 hour service, and so you can only do as much as you can in that service. Alternately, they maybe could benefit from a luxury pedicure where they are getting the exfoliation and the masking and the softening agents applied too. So you could recommend that maybe the next time they might want to invest in the longer or the more luxury pedicure. Additionally, you can suggest that they take home products to use on their feet that will continue to soften those calluses, so that the next time that they come you can do a better job. Be aware that there's many clients who are extremely ticklish, and you need to be sensitive to that. Also, try not to hyperextend your client's knees. If you have a client who's a little bit shorter, depending on the chair you're working on, that might be a little bit of a difficult item. But especially for seniors or anybody who's had any sort of knee replacement, you don't want to be hyperextending that knee. Okay, so we're going to put this foot back into the water, keep it warm. And we're going to take the other foot out, and we're going to follow the same procedure. Make sure you dry between all the toes, push the cuticles back. At this point, if you were using it, you would apply a callus remover and wrap the foot up. If your client had polish, you would at this point, when you've pulled the foot out of the water, that's when you would take the polish off. Unless you, when you're doing your first examination of the foot, you have some suspicious that they might have a fungal nail, then you may want to remove the polish at the very beginning so that you can get a better look at their toenails.
Sorry.
The number one thing I say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When you're working on feet, you're going to see all kinds of things, and some of them are not very pleasant. What you want to do is always keep an air of professionalism. If you see a foot that shocks you, you need to not respond to that shocked. You don't want to be going when you see someone's foot. It's not very encouraging to the client. You want to always have them feel nice and comfortable. And file the nails again straight across. And smooth them with the palms. Alternately to using an emery board and a pumice, you can use a diamond or glass file and eliminate the pumice stone entirely. Be aware the pumice stone is a porous tool and it needs to be absolutely properly sanitized. Reapply your solvent. And push the cuticles back. Be amazed sometimes how much baby toe you can actually find once all of the excess cuticle is removed from them. Gently with the metal pusher.
Oh, that's okay. It's very dry.
Yeah. And then you're going to trim off the excess. And trim off all the excess cuticle. Sometimes that can be a lot. If someone's feet are not looked after regularly, they may have a lot of excess cuticle growing on their toenail. Then you're going to clean under the free edge of the nail. And if necessary, again, use your pumice stone to trim the edges a little bit more. And we're going to use a pedi paddle. Clean off any callosities. There's a smooth side and a coarse side to your pedi panel. You always want to use the smooth side for finishing. Put that foot back into the water. We're going to lift the other foot out and we're going to give it a nice little scrub. Remove any last little bits of excess pterygium from it. Remove any excess callus material that might still be on the foot. Dry it well in between the toes. And again, dry the cuticles well.